What's up? A to Z Sports Live on another not victory Monday. The Titans are 1-5 after getting obliterated by the Buffalo Bills in the second half. The final score 34-10 after the Titans had a 10-0 lead in the second quarter. 34 unanswered points by the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen hits Zach's over in passing yards. Mason Rudolph did hit my over in completions with 18.5. But the Titans are now 1-5, and a lot of storylines to get to. DeAndre Hopkins created an awkward situation on the sideline in the fourth quarter. There was a lot of really bad things about that game, and we're going to ask you guys what was the worst thing about that game in the second half. We'll hear from Brian Callahan, hear from Jeffrey Simmons, also from DeAndre Hopkins. Will Levis did not play. He was out of the game as we were part of the reporting of that on Saturday afternoon, and Mason Rudolph got his first start with the Titans, and not a lot was different. Another first half lead blown by this team in the first 6 games of the season. Zach, welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend. I know you were in Knoxville. It sucks that you have more in-person Tennessee Vol wins over Alabama than I do, but I'm not going to bring that up too much because that just really pisses me off, to be honest.
Well, I'm good luck. Hugh Freeze, back when Ole Miss was cheating, we were beating Alabama, right? So,
yeah, damn it. Just real brutal.
Well, look, opportunity arise, and what a game in that sense. Tennessee closing that out, beating Bama. That was a good college football experience. And then woke up on Sunday, and we all experienced a bad pro football experience watching the Tennessee Titans get shellacked by the Buffalo Bills up there in Buffalo. So a lot to dive into. I think some strong opinions are on the way. I think the ship is sinking, if not already halfway down the ocean, right? So a lot to get to. Curious to hear the reaction from the fans, as I know you guys did that yesterday for our post-game show, but we've had eventually night sleeps aren't going to matter. You're still going to wake up. They're still going to lose games. Big problems in Nashville. And what are they going to do to fix them if they can, or is it too late? So a lot to dive into. We are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We got you locked right there. And also, we will tweet out link by link, segment by segment on our Twitter/X timeline. So go ahead and follow us there at A to Z Sports. If you're a Titans fan, if you are tired of the Titans losing, you could follow us at A to Z Sports NFL. Get all your NFL league-wide news. So we got you covered there on X. If you're trying to watch the show, the easiest way to watch it is on YouTube. So morning, noon, and night, we've got videos coming out, including live streaming shows every weekday at 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. for primetime. Buck Rising, who did that last night after the show. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. A to Z Sports Nashville. Search that in the YouTube search bar. Hit subscribe. If you've already subscribed, we appreciate that. Make sure you like this show. It will help the algorithm. We'll get more Titans fans in here, maybe Bills fans. Who knows? As Chiefs that fans.
That's a Chiefs fan in the
chat. Right? And we'll. I'll mention the Chiefs today because that's something happened last week. Chiefs undefeated as they beat the 49ers. Brock Purdy, bad throws late in the game. But if you are on YouTube, like the show, make sure you have the live alerts on. That's by ringing the bell, pushing that bell icon on our YouTube account. And Facebook. What's going on, Facebookers? Bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing, as we say on this show. So share the show around. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends' news feed. So let's get this Monday morning party started at 8 a.m. Let's get ready to roll.
Stood officially welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Link to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go to make them a part of your new car buying process. Save some money on that new ride with Wilson County Hyundai in Lebanon. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans by using our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ, and TDOT. Be part of the solution to help keep Tennessee beautiful and in littering across the state by visiting nobodytrashestennessee.com. So, Zach, 34-10, 34 unanswered points after the Titans started the game with 10 points that went very answered by the Buffalo Bills, obliterated in that second half. It's crazy. The Tennessee Titans have either had the lead or been tied at halftime in 5 out of 6 games this season, and they're 1-5. So it's like pretty wild of how they do it. And I thought this opening statement from Brian Callahan kind of set up exactly what this game was as a microcosm to the entire season.
Tale of two halves seems like the tale of our season so far. Find a way to play really well early, and then did not play really well in the second half at all in any phase. So got to find a way to get that fixed. We went backwards on offense. We had penalties. We had a million issues, quarterback hits, all those things. Not good enough. And then defensively, I think they scored on every possession in the second half, and that's a really good football team. We didn't do a good enough job to do anything in the second half worthwhile, and it's frustrating, and got to find an answer.
Had a lead, some semblance of control when you decided to go for it on the fourth down at the beginning of the third. What you thinking there after you didn't go for it on fourth when you could have had 4 more points in the first?
Yeah, we were pretty good third down conversion wise in that range, in that 2 to 5 range at that point. We were running the ball well coming out of the half, and I thought we had a good chance to be able to get that. And ran the 2 runs there in a row and didn't get any yards at all. So that was really the reason. I thought we had a chance to get the yard or 2 that we needed, and it was a fringe go for us. It was sort of a dealer's choice at that point, and felt like our conversion percentage up to that point in the first half and our ability to run the ball was in our favor. So took an aggressive approach to try to go get it, and we didn't get it.
The second question there was about the 4th and go for it at the beginning of the third quarter after Tony Pollard stuffed on a direct snap on 3rd and 1. And then going for it on 4th and 2 and get stuffed even worse by the Bills defense. They go down and score a touchdown. Amari Cooper, his first touchdown with the Bills after the trade from the Browns last week. And it was off and rolling from that point. That was a 14-10 lead that the Bills never looked back at. So, Zach, we always do our one word in the postgame show. Easton and I both had our one word. Easton's writing about his one word at A2ZSports.com/Titans this morning. Zach, what is your one word to describe the Titans' 34-10 loss to the Bills yesterday?
Well, maybe my word is the same as, I don't know either of you guys' word, but it's unanswered. I mean, it is the epitome of what yesterday is. 34 unanswered points. Didn't have an answer in the second half. Didn't have an answer on 4th down, as Brian Callahan. I'm glad that he mentioned that, because that was impactful in the game, right? They talked about it on the broadcast. They said this is a momentum swinger, right? Swing to the Buffalo Bills, or the Tennessee Titans continue to kind of develop and move down the field possibly. But here was my issue. I'm okay with him going for it on 4th down. That is not an issue. I think, and this is the tough part when you call those plays, for the players you have. So he decided to run the football. Well, why did you run the football? Did you run the football because you're dealing with a backup quarterback? You don't have the unique, exotic schemes to put a 4th down play together to make the defense think a little bit before they react. They reacted, right? They reacted and they stuffed the run, and good play, right?
Zach, I'm clapping because you and I are very much aligned on the big heated argument. Maybe the first fight that Easton and I have had together. You always remember your first fight, right? Easton and I got into this really strongly because I hated the direct snap to Tony Pollard and the play call to Tony Pollard on 3rd and 4th down that both got stuffed for losses, because it was exactly that. It allowed the defense to react instead of think, instead of read. Like nobody wants to read. We all just want to go do, right? So nobody wants to read the manual. Just go do it. Put that thing together. And that's exactly what the Titans allowed the Bills defense to do, is just react and go hit him in the face.
But do the Titans have the players to do what you and I both thought that they should do? And I think that brings up the conversation is, Brian Callahan went with probably the most trusted option in his opinion. And I know you're playing Mason Rudolph, but Mason Rudolph's ceiling is not going anywhere. It is what it is, okay? We've known that for years, whether he was in Pittsburgh or wherever. And, like, we know what it is. So on fourth down, you don't – and if everybody that watched a lot of football, I watched as much football yesterday as I always do, every single game. If you – the Chiefs closed out the 49ers yesterday on a third down where – now, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, right? And far from Mason Rudolph. But they sent Travis Kelce in motion to justify that they had man coverage on him because that's usually his third down target. And what did they do? They had a unique play call that they rolled out, and they did basically a little out route right down the line to get the first down. The Titans can't do that.
Yeah, they did. But Zach, they did. They didn't. The entire first half, they did that.
But they didn't do that on fourth down, which, as the broadcasters referenced, and it was true, bravo to the broadcasters, all 65 of them in the booth, is
shout out Jason McCourty. That's our guy.
But it only needs to be two, in my opinion. But
I agree.
But they don't get the opportunity to be unique in that situation, and they get stuffed, and the momentum swung, and the Bills did not look back. The Bills were a better football team before the football kicked off. Everybody and their mother knew that. But it's those opportune times and those calls that Brian Callahan, he's making the right decision, right? But the result isn't there, and his football team is not as good as the opponent. And when you make those, when you don't make the play, right, and they didn't make the play, there are big-time repercussions, and the Bills took advantage from that moment to the rest of the football game.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get it. We'll hear from Jeffrey Simmons here in a second, but I want to go ahead and get into our first question of the day, and that is, what was the worst part of the Titans' 34-10 loss to the Bills? What was the worst part about the Titans' 34-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills? I want to get everybody's thoughts.
I have something that no one is going to say.
Oh,
I know for a fact. I'll bet money. And here you go. I'm putting this up. I don't think anybody's going to say what I'm going to say. I'll look in the comments.
Okay.
I think this is the tell of the tape, in my opinion.
All right. So what was the worst part about that Titans loss yesterday to Buffalo? But first, let me tell you guys, one of the worst parts about the state of Tennessee is the fact that there's just litter everywhere. 88 million pieces of litter on our roadways statewide, and we can all help be a part of the solution to end littering across the state. TDOT, they try every year. They spend like $23 million every year to help clean up the litter, and it's still a massive problem. So we can all help pitch in and do our part, and that is the fact that it's just going out and picking up litter. Don't litter when you're out and about too. And you can also join local cleanups with TDOT. They've already organized these cleanups in your areas. So all you have to do is go to nobodytrashtennessee.com, sign up and show up. It's as simple as that. People have kids out there that kids need volunteer opportunities and experience to help do some good things and put their energy towards the right direction. Have your kids come join you with the local cleanups too. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. They make it so easy. You sign up and show up for litter cleanups in your area. Learn more about how you can be a part of the solution to end littering in Tennessee. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com.
It is esports powered by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. We got you covered right there at the bottom of the screen. You use that bonus code ATOZ Sports. You got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. That's a new thing a little bit later on in the season. One of them is only streaming on ESPN Plus. So a little bit, if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to watch.
Sign up for my app.
Yeah, right. You're not going to be able to watch the Cardinals Chargers, which I know everyone's drooling. But hey, fire them cannons tonight, because the Bucks and Ravens, I think that's a pretty damn good matchup, right? So we'll see what Derrick Henry, how many yards he runs for in a purple jersey, not a two-tone blue jersey. But you can bet on it, right? That's the best part. You can bet on it with BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas, now in Tennessee, and has been. So if you've not signed up, opportunity to sign up, win a little bit of cash, bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right, Zach. So you think nobody is going to get your answer here? The question is, what was the worst part about the Titans' 34-10 loss to the Bills? I'll let you scan through the chat comments to see if anybody has hit it on the head. I do want to say King VC says lock in and like the show. So if you have not liked the show yet, which a lot of you have not, that's okay. You still got time. Please hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. So, Zach, what are you seeing here from the worst part about the Titans' loss?
And if somebody gets it, they're getting the love of the show. And
I'm going to give them a T-shirt. You know what? I have so many T-shirts in my attic that we need to get rid of. If somebody hits it, I'll give them a T-shirt.
A to Z Sports
if I have their size
on the line. And usually I wouldn't start with this comment because it really doesn't answer the question, but in this case it does. And Vanessa says all of it, right? It's not what we're looking for, but I can't argue with Vanessa. So there you go. You'll start us off right there. That is not mine, but good swing and not a bad comment right there. The Ridley drops from dad to the bone. Play calling. Brad goes, they don't stack the box anymore. They're daring us to throw DHop 1 target, 1 catch for -2 yards. He will be traded. We'll talk about that, Brad. So hold tight later on in this show. The coaching from Hill says that was the problem. There were no positives from Curtis C. No adjustments at all. Calling the same play over and over and over again. The whole second half was the worst part from Guy. Wasting 3 hours of Jason Brown's day. Nicholas Petit Frere. That I think should be high on the list, Eric. That's the first NPF comment we've gotten out of a lot of comments. I'm sure there will be more. Let's see. Same old Titans. SOT. Scott Weaver coming in here right there. The kickoff. 0 points in the second half. The coaching from Bobby Callahan. The offensive lines suck so bad. Calvin Ridley begging and then dropping that ball. Yep, you can't beg for something and then not show up.
And then choose not to catch it.
Well, and you know what? I was thinking when it was happening, Amari Cooper, brand new place, right? First opportunity on third down, drops it, hits it right in his paws, and you're like, oh, God, that's not good. But he redeems himself, not even knowing the play. I don't know if you've seen this. He didn't even know the play. He asked the other wide receiver, what the hell do I do? And then he goes, catch a touchdown pass. Titans can't do that. The Callahan wake-up call from Steven. Worst part, still don't have a quarterback or an offensive line. Team morale from Eric Brown. I think that is a very interesting. It's not mine, but John says the entire second half. Ashley just says bad. Callie's halftime speech, which we don't really know in that sense, word for word. Watching the players give up. And Robbie brings up that point. They didn't play well enough, and then it got so out of hand that they really didn't play well enough. DHop on the sidelines was the worst part. False hope from Alex. There's another NPF. He didn't start, so let's be clear, right?
Dressing over Watson.
Yeah, there you go. Not getting NWI involved, and the fact that NWI is more productive than Traylon Burks will ever be is baffling. That's also a topic for another show. The 30 screens, it seems that they only can throw. Lack of effort after losing the lead. Players giving up from amnesia. Ridley drops. Let's see here. Right side of the offensive line. Absolute garbage. It's horrible just from Chris Frazier. So we've gotten Chris Frazier just to say it's horrible. That now he's simple and to the point, which is not usually his MO. So DHop getting 1 target, lack of adjustments right there. False hope again. So
still nothing from nobody?
Nobody has gotten mine. And mine, I think, tells this story.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say mine because then I'm curious to see what
do I get the chance to
if you want to guess.
I would like to say mine. This is going to be authentically mine and not like trying to scoop yours. My worst part about this game was coaching decisions. I thought coaching decisions started the rock slide. And the first of the coaching decision was to start Jalen Duncan at right tackle after Leroy Watson. You know, he had 3 penalties for a total of 20 yards last week in a start, but he gave up those no sacks. He was better against the Colts than any other person at right tackle had been up to that point. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't great by any means, but Jalen Duncan didn't earn a starting opportunity at right tackle. And then 4 plays in, he pulls a hamstring because he's wearing skates out there against Gregory Rousseau. And then NPF has to go in there. And by this, Rousseau set a Bills record with 11 pressures on the day, by the way, because NPF came in after that. That just tells you everything. Jalen Duncan was in for 4 plays. Gregory Rousseau had 11 pressures, Bills record for in a game. Bills have pretty good pass rushers in their history. And so NPF was awful. And Leroy Watson was just sitting over there in street clothes. That was the first coaching decision that started the rock slide. And then I honestly think the 3rd and 4th down calls on the opening possession of the second half were bad coaching decisions. I thought the direct snap was not a good play call. I thought it was dumb play call to do. It was not within their offense. All the things that they did to pick up yards in the first half by using play action, moving Rudolph, hitting tight ends in the flats that had yak ability. All that stuff worked. So direct snapping to the running back and getting run blitzed in the face failed. And then trying to do it over again on 4th down was back-to-back compounding bad coaching decisions. So coaching decisions is my worst part about that game yesterday.
So that is not mine. I think there's some valid points in there. I think you got to start to look at, and I think at the beginning of the season, you're like, there's no way Brian Callahan will be fired this year. They're going to take time with him. He's got a new quarterback. He was hired and handpicked by the owner. But Austin, you can get to a point in a season as a first-year coach, and you can be on the hot seat. You can be not for long. That's the NFL. I don't think Brian Callahan is there now, but he can't keep losing games, especially the way that yesterday was lost. And that's kind of where I'm going. Mine is very specific because I think it tells you exactly what you need to know about the Tennessee Titans. Austin, we all know that they had 34 unanswered points, right? It was 10-0, and then they lost 34-10. The Buffalo Bills scored 34 points unanswered. And on 3rd down, Austin, and this, I think, tells you the story. The Bills were 3 for 10 on 3rd down. They were doing all of their work on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah.
You're getting them in position, and then they got off the field, right? But they're gashing you on the most important downs. And you know what the Titans are doing on the other side? Up, false start, up, back them up 5 yards, up, it's 1st and 15. The Titans, in the history of the Tennessee Titans and most football teams, but really the Titans, and everybody knows it because they're a running football team, or at least have been, you can't do diddly poo on 1st and 15. And that's where the Titans are. The Bills, on the other hand, are 3 for 10 on 3rd down. That's a recipe for a win. You see the L at the bottom of the screen? No, that's a loss. A recipe for a win is to hold your opponent for 3 for 10 on 3rd down. It's getting off the field. But the Titans are so bad that they give up 34 unanswered points on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah.
That's their problem. And defensively, they have some bright spots, but this is bad. And this is very, very bad. And this also, you look on the other side of the football where they have the weapons where everybody else is complaining about. And I think this goes to what you're saying is coaching and play calling and Ridley and DHop and offensive line and all of that. We knew that was going to possibly be a struggle, especially with a backup quarterback. We knew it was going to be a struggle with Will Levis, where, Vegas picked him to win 5 games or less, right? Like, they weren't going to be very good. They were going to have to play out of their mind. And they're not playing out of their mind. Defensively, though, you cannot go 3 for 10 and get off the field, but lose 34-10. I think that was my biggest disappointment because it reveals that there are problems across the board, and they're not going anywhere with a backup quarterback. And the sad part is, whenever Will Levis comes back, everybody's doubting him, right? You doubt Will Levis now. Do you not?
Doubt is saying it nicely.
I doubt him too. Everybody in the chat that has watched Titan football this year should doubt Will Levis. Can he do it? I don't think he can. And I didn't think that way as much before the season. I don't think Titans fans, when you're going through training camp, thought, man, I just don't know if Will Levis. We kind of thought, hey, he has the skill set. He's gotten some experience. He's got a brand new offensive-minded head coach. He's grown up a little bit, right? And all of those, the results are in, Maury, and that was a lie.
Yeah.
And that's my issue, is it's across the board, and you're 1-5.
So here's where I think your worst thing and my worst thing kind of come together. Because, earlier you said you didn't hate the decision to go for it on 4th down to start the 3rd quarter, but you didn't like the play call, right? And I think that's okay. Like, I didn't like the decision to go for it on 4th down because of what your defense had done in the first half. Because you talk about 3 for 10, the Bills were on 3rd down the entire game. They were 0 for 5 on 3rd down in the first half. So they were 3 out of 5 on 3rd down in the second half. And here's the crazy part is 6 drives in the first half for the Bills. They went 3 and out 4 times. And you were 5-0 on their 3rd downs getting off the field. So in the spot that you have where you are near midfield and you're still in your territory, right? You haven't crossed the logo yet, and it's 4th and 2, and you just got punched in the face on 3rd and 1 and lost yards. Maybe I'd punt it and pin them deeper because you have the lead and your defense just held them 0 for 5 on 3rd down and created 4 3-and-outs in the first half. That is why I think going for it on 4th down in that spot was bad. I know the analytical model will say it's a coin flip, coach's decision. Well, that's what Brian Callahan said yesterday. The analytics said it could go either way. And so he decided to be aggressive there. That's the wrong instinctual time to be aggressive. You've got to believe in your defense, and you put your defense in a spot to fail by giving the Bills all the momentum with a big 4th down stop and then great field position to go take the lead immediately. And then it was done.
But Brian Callahan is not thinking about the defense, Austin. He's there to fix the offense.
No.
But he's there to fix the offense. He's an offensive-minded head coach. He's a play caller. He has dealt with many a quarterback, and that's why he got the job, right? Based on his resume and history and opportunity. His mindset, Austin, is not that. That's why I don't mind him going for it on 4th down. But if you are an offensive-minded head coach, you're going to have to dial up something a lot better than what we saw on 4th down.
Sure.
Even with a backup quarterback. Now, you could justify, if you don't believe in Mason Rudolph, to punt the ball away. That's still an offensive thought, right? We got a backup quarterback. We're going to punt the ball away. But he, I think, is so enamored, which he should be, in fixing this offense and getting the mojo to mount a drive, put something together, right? And unfortunately, you would have never thought that on the first drive of the 3rd quarter with the lead, that 4th down call would cost you the game. And then now looking back at it, hindsight 2020,
it did.
That definitely did.
Yeah, because it's not that, it's actually, Zach, it's not that difficult because we know what Buffalo is. It's like the closest thing to an SEC atmosphere in the NFL. That's Buffalo. And if you give those people up there who have been jumping off of tables all morning long into fire pits a chance to get reignited, pun intended, they're going to take it and they're going to run with it. And that's exactly what Brian Callahan did. Brian Callahan gave the Buffalo Bills fan base and the team that's better than you an opportunity to get reignited and to go light you up for 34 unanswered points. I'm using all the fire puns I could possibly make up because that is how I feel. I feel that strongly. Like that 4th down, go for it decision was a bad instinctual decision. The analytical model, that's coin toss. Coach's decision. Bad coach's decision in that spot. You punt the football. You try to use one of your best players, Ryan Stonehouse, to pin them deep and make Josh Allen, who has done nothing to that point outside of 3 plays to get a touchdown, Make him go the full distance to get points to tie or take the lead, not give him 40 yards to go do it. And have the fans rally up and start singing Mr. Brightside.
And maybe this leads into something, but he's not using DeAndre Hopkins or Calvin Ridley, right? Like, those guys are talented X-type players, right? That they can make the big play or the reliable play. DeAndre Hopkins, reliable hands, right? That has been his MO through his entire career. He's not involved in that play. Calvin Ridley, who has speed and was a 1,000-yard receiver last year in Jacksonville, he's not involved on that play. You just did the run on third down, right?
And lost 1 yard.
And that's where I think I'm okay with him going for it. I understand why. I did not like the play call that was called on fourth down. And the results and repercussions are everything that you just said. But I think everybody kind of knew that, right? That's a ballsy head coach call in Buffalo on your side of the field with a small lead against a better team, right? But that's how you beat Austin. Those type calls, when executed correctly, can help you win football games and extend leads. But this egg on your face, and now you're at the podium again after the game, sitting here, saying what he said.
I disagree. I think the time to be aggressive, the call that beats the team like the Buffalo Bills, is not going for it on 4th and 2 after getting stuffed for -1 in the second half near midfield. It's going for it on 4th and 3 from the Bills 7 and not settling for a 25-yard field goal. That is the time to be aggressive to beat the Bills. Go get 4 more points on 4th and 3 where you've got a lot of playbook, a lot of misdirection, and you've got that's how you beat the Bills.
I don't know how much he believes in the quarterback. I mean, you have this really nice car. If you give, and I don't even call the Titans a Lamborghini because that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. So I'm gonna give the Titans. They're a professional football team. Let's say the Titans are a minivan. A 12-year-old doesn't know how to drive. You give him a minivan, he can't do anything with it. And I feel like that's what the Titans are. They don't know what to do with the players they have offensively. And I will say this is not anything crazy. NPF is the worst player on their team, and he does not need to play. He needs to be released. Zach, they need to cut him.
Thank you.
And they're not in a position to probably do that. I think you got to figure it out. I mean, how many times did John Robinson, I know, don't get triggered. How many times did John Robinson find a guy off the street and at least Band-Aid the offensive line together? But Nicholas Petit-Frere is the worst player on the team. You cannot play him. But they play him. And what does he do? He comes in there and does exactly what the worst player on the team would do, and that is hurt your football team.
This is my current stance on Nicholas Petit-Frere and the Titans.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else. I cannot play with them. Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. Can't do it.
Can't do it, Zach. I cannot stand watching NPF, whose name translates to little brother, play right tackle. And Rousseau translates to kicking the Titans' ass in French. I mean, it is insane that NPF continues to give other edge rushers record pressure days. Like, NPF does not deserve to be dressed out. I said this yesterday in the postgame show. I would not dress him out as many times as I possibly can. I wouldn't do it.
What do they do in the film room?
I don't know. NPF doesn't have it, man. He is and I don't like calling players this word, but NPF is soft. He is soft. SAWFT. NPF is soft. He is not right. He can't anchor. He can't get his ass down and stop somebody from bull rushing him back into the quarterback. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. They can't do anything if NPF's butt is right in their shoulder half the time. It's awful. He's so bad. I agree with you. He shouldn't be on the team. He should be cut.
Like sometimes you got to make tough decisions. And I think Rand Carthon, that is one decision that is not even tough. It's pretty easy. Now, I don't know the financial stipulations of it.
Who cares? They're fine.
Third round pick. I mean,
who cares?
But he's hurting your team more than helping it. But again, they don't have a solution, right? He's next man up.
No, Leroy Watson was sitting there, started a whole game for you and gave up 0 sacks, and he was in street clothes.
But he's in street clothes. That's what I'm saying. Like, yes, that decision prior was incorrect, but now that's what I say. NPF was literally the next man up.
I know. And as soon as I saw the inactives and I saw Leroy Watson inactive, I was like, oh, what is going on? Like literally, this is what their starting right tackle has been the last 3 games. NPF benched after Miami. Then you bring up Leroy Watson from the practice squad after the bye week and start him against the Colts. Then you make him inactive, and then you pull up Jalen Duncan, who was inactive against the Colts, and start him. Then he gets hurt 4 plays in, and now since Leroy Watson is inactive again for whatever reason, you got to put in NPF, who continues to suck. Like you've benched NPF now 3 times, and he keeps coming back and still being bad. Why is he not the one who's inactive?
Great question. I think, did somebody ask Brian Callahan that question yesterday?
I don't know. The post game, whenever they're on the road, post game press conferences are really tough because they last about 4.5 minutes and you can't hear any question that's being asked.
Well, today
you will be asked at 11:30.
Why are you guys still playing? Why is Nicholas Petit-Frere still playing?
Employed.
I mean, no, it's a great question. Yeah. No. Like, just as a whole, it's a great question because it's not a yes or no question. He's forced to answer, right? And Brian Callahan's been good with the media. I don't have a problem with him. So is Rand. Like, they're open. They at least, I don't think they dodge those questions. No. But that needs to be asked. Why is NPF, first of all, dressed out, and second of all, playing? Because you can't give him an out because an injury happened, right?
Yeah, like, why is he playing? Well, Jalen Duncan got hurt. Yeah, okay. But why was Leroy Watson?
But then follow up. But then you see how he played. Why did he continue to play?
Yeah. Jake says NPF and Burks need bus tickets. Well, Traylon Burks is on injured reserve. Shocker. And so he's out for at least 3 more games.
I'm glad we got early in the season that we confirmed he was a bust.
God,
because even though I did that 2 years ago, I feel like. But
all right, we have some super chats to get to. None of the super chats to this point are about DeAndre Hopkins. So let's do some super chats that are non-DHop related. And then we're going to talk about DeAndre Hopkins because, Zach, you have an opinion on what you think the Titans should do with the future Hall of Fame wide receiver. But super chats first. Zach, tell us all about our friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com/A to Z is where to go to get your health plan. You can get a quote today. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Hey, I was in Neyland Stadium on Saturday. Farm Bureau Health Plans up top, right? I mean, maybe that helped the Vols with that last kind of 2-minute win to get the W right there. Farm Bureau Health Plans, partners for the Titans, partner for the Tennessee Volunteers, the Preds, A to Z Sports, and has been. And the reason why is they can be trusted, and they've been in the market being the state of Tennessee for over 75 years. Health, dental, and vision. They can put a plan together for you and your family. You may be single, you may be married, you may be married with kids. Does not matter. They've got the perfect plan for you. 200 plus locations across the state. Agents everywhere that you can call, visit, be reliable, or you can go online and start that process at FBHP, Farm Bureau Health Plans, FBHP.com/ATOZ.
BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas, and all season long, BetMGM is giving you odds boost for any pro football wager this season. Just log into your BetMGM account today and receive an odds boost token. Then wager on any pro football matchup and apply your token to make sure you bet up to the minimum stake, odds and legs specified on whatever that token may be. If your boosted wager hits, you'll score an even bigger payout. No opt-ins required. Just log into your BetMGM sports account and you'll receive automatically that odds boost token for pro football adding more excitement and more opportunity to win on the gridiron all season long. Draw up your play for bigger thrills with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued. Knowledgeable bonus bets. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line. 800-889-9789. Zach, let's get to some super chats here before we talk about DeAndre Hopkins creating an awkward situation on the sideline. Jeffrey says the game was over once Nicholas Petit-Frere came in. I mean, yes and no, because they did score 10 points after NPF came in, but he also was abysmal throughout the game and gave up 11 pressures, most of them to Gregory Rousseau of the Buffalo Bills. Sightseeing Super Chat says Rudolph is lucky to not have 3 interceptions in that game. They were decisions that look all too similar to Will's. Who preps these quarterbacks? Also, can Ridley take some of the $90 million and buy Stickum? Calvin Ridley drops are a big problem. Massive problem. There's a lot of issues there. Mason Rudolph, yes, did have good luck with turnover-worthy throws and plays, where Will Levis has not this season. But last season, Will Levis did have good luck with turnover-worthy plays, like Mason Rudolph did yesterday. But, Mason Rudolph, I mean, we haven't really talked about him much other than just in passing. I thought he was solid until he was no longer solid because nothing around him could help him. That's kind of my take on Mason Rudolph yesterday.
Well, Mason Rudolph is the type of quarterback that you've got to continuously build a lead, right? And then you're just trying to protect it. And they were unable to do that. And it goes back to that 4th down play that obviously swung momentum, but he's not going to put up the points needed to mount a comeback once the Bills take a 7 or 10 point lead, right? He just is not that guy. And that's the difficult part that the Titans have to play. You're trying to figure out if Will Levis can do that type of stuff. And so far, not good, right? He's relinquished the lead. And then, with Chicago even starting, he didn't get that back, right? Once you gave up the lead. I think with Mason Rudolph, where Brian Callahan is going to have to kind of figure out, is he going to be, it's his first head coaching stint, and we don't know how long that's going to be. Is he trying to hitch his wagon to young quarterbacks to be drafted because that suits the franchise, right? That's beneficial for the Titans franchise, is to draft a young quarterback, groom him, find his stuff, and sign him to a contract and have him be the franchise quarterback for a period of time? Or is he going to go, and I hate to say this, the Ryan Tannehill route, where you're going to go with a veteran quarterback because you can win games and they can put their wide receivers and some of their players in better positions and be more of a threat, right, to the defense? And so far, I don't know. We don't have that answer yet, right?
Yeah, correct.
We don't, but that answer will be had sooner rather than later for Brian Callahan, or he won't be here for long.
Yeah, I agree. Amnesia asked me, well, Austin, did you get your Rudolph fix yesterday? I wasn't itching for Mason Rudolph fix. I still think the Titans would have beat the Colts if Mason Rudolph was the quarterback and not an unhealthy Will Levis. And that's a topic we'll talk about later on in the week. Brian Callahan does meet with the media at 11:30 today. Some players will be available starting at 11 o'clock. So Sam and Easton will have coverage from St. Thomas Sports Bar coming up. A couple super chats to get to here. Sam the Man says you don't go for it on 4th down and minus territory. I mean, you at times you do, but in that time, I thought it was the wrong decision. Zach, you are okay with the 4th down go for it decision. Didn't like the play call. I don't think it was the right decision to even attempt the 4th down conversion. I think you punt, make Josh Allen go 80 plus yards for the first time all day, and make him convert a 3rd down instead of just giving him the ball at the 40 or whatever it was. We've been over that decision a few times. Kane says, why should the fans stay engaged? We know the team sucks and the media wants to trade everyone. We are truly tired of hearing how bad the Titans are. I don't think the media wants to trade everyone. I think we had a conversation last week about players who are tradable and would be good assets, because right now the Titans, you have to kind of look – I guess you have to kind of set yourself up to do the good things moving forward, and gaining assets for the future is the way to do that, especially if you have expiring assets currently. I mean, I think why should the fans stay engaged? I think it's a great question by Kane, and I don't know if we have the time today to answer it, but it's a valid question.
Well, the person that will have the Titans stay engaged is Will Levis. But he's hurt, right? So week to week, as they say. So I don't know how long. And by the time he gets back, whenever that is, because engaged is this the guy of the future? Right now, I don't think you can fully solidify yes or no. It's definitely leaning towards no when it comes to Will Levis. We know that just based on his on-field performance. And Will Levis is sitting at home being like, I got to get back out there. Titans fans are like, we need to see more of him. The Titans front offices, we need to see more of them, because right now they're top 5 pick. They keep losing football games. They're going to get even higher, and that's where you draft a quarterback. That's where you find your Jaden Daniels type guy or Caleb Williams type guy at the top. Even Drake May, and I know that they lost, but he shows some glimmers of throwing the football, right? So like that's where you find the talent. And Will Levis, that is the reason why. So until he comes back, it is going to be tough, especially going against the Detroit Lions that are about to beat the brakes off of the Titans. Yeah, or Lions, that's a game where the Titans like win. And
no, because that's a game that Mike Vrabel might try to win. I thought the Buffalo game is a game that Mike Vrabel might have a puncher's chance. But and Ronald's right. Like, so you're saying, oh, Will Levis. So stay engaged by funny ass memes on the internet and everyone laughing at the Titans. Yeah, that's what the Will Levis experience has been.
The Titans need a cerebral quarterback that is interesting, that doesn't make them look bad or phony or memes.
So and by saying the Titans need a cerebral quarterback, you are eliminating Will Levis from consideration.
So far, he has been the opposite of that. He's been in the negative effect. But I'm talking about. Again, I don't want to get too far ahead because we don't know where the Titans will draft, but they need a franchise changer. And I'm talking about like the perception of the team and the franchise. Yeah. Because they've been the butt of a lot of jokes through 6 weeks. And that's not what Titans fans pay hard-earned money for or sign up for.
Right. Andre says, I know they don't want to, but at what point do you put Radins at right tackle and Brunskill at right guard? Should have been done a long time ago. I don't think you do that because I think Dylan Radins is working himself to a contract extension to be your right guard in the future. And so I don't think you're going to mess with that. I think you just continue to want Dylan Radins to play really good at right guard, because now if you have that answer, then now all you have to do is find one player on the O-line next year. Right? Christian Berry's under contract. J.C. Latham, you feel good about. Skronsky, you can feel they're going to continue to grow. If Dylan Radins earns that right guard job, then you just have the right tackle.
Now, they have but the right tackle can cost your quarterback.
Yeah, but you can literally that. But you don't have to worry about replacing 3 guys. You just replace 1 in the offseason, which kind of goes into Barron's comment. Rand didn't think this was a rebuild based on the money spent in the offseason, $100 million in cap space, and worse than the previous team that had no cap space. Literally, Rand and Chad Brinker told Mike Keith and Amy Wells that this is going to take a couple of years. They spent a bunch of money because they had a bunch of money to spend. And in the NFL, you have to spend a certain amount. And in my opinion, they spent a lot of money this offseason to either help the quarterback figure it out or to be ready for the next quarterback if this quarterback didn't figure it out. And so, look, there's
different ways to build a franchise. The Texans had a ton of money to spend for a number of years, and they didn't spend it. And then they went on their shopping spree and got all of the players to make them the best team in the AFC South, right? That's how their approach was.
Yeah, but they also got lucky. Let's remember this about the Texans. They did find the Cleveland Browns to give them so many draft picks to get rid of Deshaun Watson. That's like a cheat code for the Texans.
Yes, but that's smart. You can't hate on them for doing that. No, I mean, there's 31 other teams that were open to listening, and all you needed is 1.
Yeah, and you took and the Browns bit.
And based on the franchise's history, that aligns. That sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the DeAndre Hopkins situation. I'm going to explain some updated information on what happened with DeAndre Hopkins on the sideline of the fourth quarter when he stood there. The broadcast was like, I don't know what to make of this. But real quick, let me dive into the Bone and Joint Institute. If injuries happen in life, which they do, injuries do happen in life, just like in football, you have to know who you can turn to and who you can trust. That is the folks at the Bone and Joint Institute, all the experts and the resources they have under one roof in Franklin, Tennessee, off I-65 and Highway 96. I've had some knee tendonitis in the past. I had plantar fasciitis in my left foot. They were able to help me deal with those injuries and get them calmed down to where I can rehab them at home and move on with my life and not have those things linger. So if you have an injury, whether it's new or whether it's old, the Bone and Joint Institute has you covered. Book an appointment when you need them online, boneandjointtn.org.
It is esports powered by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today in your Apple or Android app store. ATOZ Sports is the bonus code. They are the sports book born in Vegas, in Tennessee. So if you're in the state of Tennessee, download it today and download that code. You get boosts, you get profit boosts, you get bonus bets at times. I mean, they hook you up all the time, which is great to get a little bit of cash, and it's a ton of fun. Obviously, gamble responsible, but download that BetMGM app and use the bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right, so here is the situation from DeAndre Hopkins. So we all watched the game, and we all saw DHop standing on the sideline the fourth quarter as the Titans had really their only productive drive of the second half. And DHop was disengaged. He was not following along with the offense down the sideline. He was wearing his helmet at times, loose chin strap. He also didn't have his helmet on at times. At one point, he tightened it up, looked like he was going to go back in, but did not. And looked very disinterested with his arms behind his back, hands down below his waist. And people thought, and Jason McCourty, former Titan on the broadcast, says, I don't like to speculate, but this looks like a guy who's very tradable, a good asset. The deadline's approaching. It looks like there could be something there. And that's kind of what my look was. If you're watching that, looks like a guy who is expecting to be moved. So I was listening to The Zone this morning, and Ramon Foster, who is the sideline reporter for Titans Radio, once he understood what was out there on the broadcast, could say a little bit more of what happened. So after the previous Titans offensive possession, where Mason Rudolph threw into double coverage incomplete towards Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins went to the sideline. He took off his helmet. He dramatically rolled his helmet, then had some choice words with an unnamed team employee. I don't know who. Ramon Foster would not name them. And then he went over and stood on the sideline and was disengaged and disinterested in that following possession. Then you have this DeAndre Hopkins interview with Titans media in the Bills visitors locker room, having some very interesting comments when asked about that second half.
And what maybe happened second half when you guys got derailed and just didn't have any success?
Man, I go out there and run what's called. So that question, what happened, is out of my control. I go out there and run whatever it's called. But obviously, turnovers and penalties doesn't help.
What's keeping you guys from, besides the penalties? Chances, there are some chances to execute where things aren't being executed. What do you think's happening?
Just us. We got to make the plays. We got to be there. Obviously, Mason is a backup quarterback, but he's played a lot of ball in this league. So he holds himself to a high standard, and I think us as a receiver group, we do as well. But we just got to be accountable and make plays for him.
Did you guys not know until yesterday that Mason was going to start?
We go out and do what we're told. And that's practice, and that's what we did.
So answering two questions, we go out and do what we're told. DeAndre did also say that he had some soreness, and Brian Callahan's answered the question yesterday after the game was, I'll have to ask the trainers of why, but it was not a coach's decision. Ramon said it looked more like frustration from DHop's lack of involvement in the offense, one catch for -2 yards on the day. Zach, do you have an opinion on what you think the Titans should do with DHop? What was your overall reaction of the situation?
Well,
very awkward.
This is the old above my pay grade answer, even though he makes more than the guy making the decisions, which is kind of funny. That's the unique part about the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley are your premier on paper guys, right? That's why you brought so much hope this season of maybe why you got Calvin Ridley is because of DeAndre Hopkins. And DeAndre Hopkins, still has it, whatever it is. I said, he still has tread on the tires. He's older, right? But he still has tread on the tire. Now, he still has a torn MCL, but you saw it against Green Bay. Like he has something. So this is my thought on DeAndre Hopkins. Friday, I got a text from a radio station in Kansas City, and the Chiefs, and this is before they beat the 49ers, are always looking to get better to win championships. Different problems than the Tennessee Titans have, right? And so I went on a radio show, and they asked me about DeAndre Hopkins, and what they essentially were trying to figure out is, are the Titans willing to trade a piece like that? And this is my answer. I think that the Titans absolutely should trade DeAndre Hopkins. He's doing nothing for you this year. Get something for him. Now, I did say, they told me to give me a percentage. I said, I think it's about 60-40 that he is traded. And I think that DeAndre Hopkins, this was before the report that came out about him liking Nashville and Tennessee. I did say he does like it here. He enjoys the city. He enjoys the community. And that is a factor, right?
I think he loves it here.
Right? Where your happiness is. And I think that that's a benefit. Now, is that convincing enough to stay on a team going absolutely nowhere? How much do you want to win a Super Bowl? How much do you want to put in a position to play with a better quarterback? All of those go into it. And so I said, that's kind of my 40%. I go, if the Titans keep losing, though, I think that percentage goes up and they will eventually trade him. I believe that they have to. It's Rand Carthon's responsibility before the trade deadline to get something for DeAndre Hopkins. What was brought up in the radio show conversation in Kansas City is, what if, and again, they're throwing stuff just to try to figure out what maybe he would go for. What if the Kansas City Chiefs traded back the 3rd round pick that they got for Snead for DeAndre Hopkins? And my answer was, you just tell me where to sign.
Yeah.
You absolutely say yes to a 3rd round pick, and you get your 3rd round pick back. You paid Snead and DeAndre Hopkins, who is a valuable offensive piece. Now, here's an X factor that happened in practice last week. Treylon Burks gets hurt and could be placed on IR. Now you're looking for bodies, right? But I think regardless at 1-5, you trade DeAndre Hopkins away.
Yeah,
and if
I
you don't, I think that's very, very poorly managed by a general manager named Rand Carthon.
I don't think he is going to go for the Titans' original 3rd rounder, because
I don't either.
That's
why I say
60,
you just tell me where to sign.
Because the Titans' 3rd rounder is going to be like a 65th through 69th pick. That's not going to happen. Maybe the Chiefs' 3rd rounder that's picking towards like 97.
But Austin, the Chiefs with DeAndre Hopkins and all of the injuries that they've accrued, and they're winning, they're trying to three-peat, brother, right? Like they get DeAndre Hopkins, and the Chiefs, everything goes through Kansas City, and they're well on their way, right? Like that's where I think that, and I agree. I don't think a 3rd rounder, you're going to get it for DeAndre Hopkins, especially you look at Amari Cooper, especially with the Devontae Adams, the MCL with DeAndre. But I think teams are going to be calling, and I think there's going to be a lot of teams. And I think Rand Carthon, this is your negotiation skills. How do you leverage all of the demand that I think that you'll receive for DeAndre Hopkins and get it a better pick because of it? So that's what I think should happen.
Well, I think the team the Chiefs just beat yesterday are also probably in the market for a receiver too. As Brandon Ayuk looks like he might be out with a torn ACL. That's the initial fear with the Niners, that could be a season ender for Brandon Ayuk, who just got a bunch of money. That's why Brandon Ayuk wanted money, right? That's why these guys are threatening to hold out, because they know that their ACL could go at any point, and at least Brandon Ayuk got his signing bonus. So look, I think there should be more demand for DeAndre Hopkins moving forward. So we'll talk more about that as we continue throughout the week. Brian Callahan also might have a chance to talk about that situation, that the awkward fourth quarter of DeAndre Hopkins on the sideline and getting a lot of TV time, not playing for the Titans.
That frustration that continues to build, he'll be gone, because the only sticking point, and that's why I think he's 40% staying, because I think he wants to be in Nashville and he enjoys it, right?
Yeah.
That starts to tick down when maybe you like the city, but when your job and you don't enjoy what the franchise is doing and how they are utilizing your skill set, you're sitting here -2 yards, you're getting paid, but I mean, you're like, what am I doing this?
He hosted as many local writer sessions this past week as he had catches.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Now his catch streak continued to a lot more games. He's caught the ball like at least once in every game since like 2014 or whatever. I don't know if he's ever had a -2 game though. Like, oh my gosh, absolutely crazy. All right, it is now time for the age game, and Zach, we have a development for the age game. But shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. Make sure that you make him a part of your new car buying process. Go make sure you see him in Lebanon to save money on that new ride. Payne Bone does a phenomenal job with his team and helping you save cash on the new car, find the right car for you, and finance it the way that you and your situation needs to have it. So WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go. Zach, it is the age game time. But I have been victorious in the age game.
Whoa.
How about that for a surprise? You don't even know what to do yet.
What happened?
I won last week.
What was it? Who was it?
Seth Rogen. 42 years old. I used my high school senior year when Knocked Up came out, and I was able to do some math, and I got it correct.
Wow.
I was very excited. I didn't know what to do.
Well, I'll have to push you on the board.
Yeah. How about that for a surprise? I have made it. And so the whole now it's just, what do we do here? Do I try to go back to back?
Well, no, I'll show you. Because
or do I flip it around on you and I start asking you the questions?
Looking at this leaderboard, everybody's chasing Titans Kyle, who's won 4 times.
Yeah.
Orlando Jones has also won 4 times. So everybody's chasing Orlando and Titans Kyle. Anthony Malley has 3 times. Brock and Lucas have 2 times. So does John Kavanaugh. Ann Herndon also has 2 times. So out of our employees, Austin, Easton, and Sam all have a
victory. Yes.
A victory.
Easton and Sam got theirs very quickly. It took me a whole year.
I mean, I'm okay if you want to pass. I pass the baton and we can flip this. I have one ready, but if we want to change, I don't mind.
I want a chance to go back to back, and then we'll flip it on you. We'll see how you do. How about that?
I think this is one that you could get.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hide the chat. Chat is hidden.
This is not like Louis the 16th or whatever I had back in the day. All right, so the connection, right? We play the team that the Titans played this past week, and we play a little bit of Kevin Bacon. So they played the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo, and the Bills are notoriously and famously owned by billionaire Terry Pegula. Terry Pegula's daughter is Jessica Pegula. How old is Jessica Pegula? And if you don't know who Jessica Pegula is, there's your quick glance. That's all you're going to get is number 4 in the world in tennis. Lost to Sabalenka in the U.S. Open, was runner-up. But how old is Jessica Pegula?
Do I get that glance again?
Nope. That is the only glance. That was the reference.
I could click on it again.
No, that's see now I've got to take things a moment. It is now deleted, so it's gone.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know that I showed that I knew I could do that, but I chose not to.
And if you didn't know that, that is now.
Yeah, no, I knew she was. I did not know her current ranking, but I knew she was very, very, very good. One of the best in the world, women's tennis players. Pagula family, also owners of the Buffalo Sabres. I'm gonna say Jessica Pagula is 31.
31. All right, lock it in.
Final.
All right, 31. Orlando Jones goes 39. So Orlando that's too old. She could number 4 in the world at 39 would be pretty impressive. This is where I felt like if you know tennis, I've actually watched tennis and have for the last couple of years. I just got into it. You can kind of know the age range. So that may have helped you. Cost 66 says 34. That's wrong. Nicole says 34. That's wrong. 37 is wrong. American Toff goes 31. You went 31.
It's wrong, isn't it?
It is wrong.
Yeah.
Lucas goes 44. But our man Dalton.
No!
One off. Jessica Pagula is 30 years old. Dalton, the one word Dalton is pretty good. You know, he's like LeBron or Prince or, Shaq. It's Dalton. Dalton, congratulations. I haven't seen Dalton. If you've been watching it, this is the first time I kind of seen the one name Dalton. I'm putting you up on the board. Put him up on the board.
She's 4 months away from being 31. She turns 31 on February 24th. Our stat guy, Easton, just texted me, "Oh, you poor man, off by 126 days."
It's tough scene.
I was really close.
Very
closer. She's closer to 31 than she is 30, technically.
Yeah, but that's not how this works.
She is in her 31st year of age. No, she's in her 31st year on this earth. How about that?
Dalton, you're on the board. Austin, Easton, Sam over there in blue. Titans, Kyle, Orlando Jones, 4-time champions. We put Dalton up there above AJ Redwine. Red wine right there. I remember when he won.
Just Dalton.
And Dalton, yeah. So congratulations to our guy Dalton. He's the winner.
That's right. All right. Dang, so close, so close. Okay, so next week we flip it on you, right? So now you get to lose at this game, and we'll see how long it takes you.
Well, do I get 2 years to do it?
It wasn't 2 years. It was not 2 years. It was a year. It was a little bit over a year.
Yeah, I can't remember when we changed it, but
it was a little bit over a year.
All right. So I get 400 or so days.
Yeah, but it's once a week, Zach. Come on. You're making it way worse than what it actually it was bad.
So it makes 60 tries.
It's about 60. Yeah, that's about fair. 60 tries. Because there were some weeks I was off. Some weeks we missed Monday. Like we don't work on Memorial Day, right? So like Labor Day, there's some times. Oh, man.
There you go. One off for that back-to-back champion. That would have been something.
If I went like 0 for 64 and then went back-to-back. All right. So here's the thing. When you get the age game correct, now we have to truly pivot and find something new to do.
I could come up with something.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. That is it for us on this Monday. The Titans are 1-5, but we're still having fun over here. So make sure you hit that like button for all these conversations about the Titans. There's so many things to talk about throughout the week. And we'll do that here on A to Z Sports every weekday morning at 8. Buck Rising live tonight for A to Z Sports Prime Time at 7. I'm sure he will have thoughts. Titans at 2 later from Sam and a Brian Callahan press conference is coming up here in a couple hours. Appreciate it as always. We'll catch you guys later.
We're not bringing back bad sales job.
No,
Adios.
that's